As coming the situation of where we're going to live, it's looking like more and more I'm going to have to buy a bus and live in it. The wife and I. So we've been looking at rentals. We're paying about $4.50 a week here at the moment, which is quite undervalued for what the people around here are paying now. They're paying $600, $650 a week. And that explains why a lot of tenants here have been kicked out because the landowners want to pump up the rent, not by the CPI amount, but by some huge 20 or 30% margin. So I think that's what's going to happen with us as well. So basically we're getting kicked out as well. My wife has a fairly good job. She's earning the average salary, 60-something thousand per year. And there's nothing here we can afford. Even a small little one-bedroom studio apartment for a student is going for $400 to $450 a week. Definitely too small for us and the dog. So we've had no choice but to look outside of the city where we are, which is Brisbane. So last week we had a look at Toowoomba. There are some cheap houses there, about $400 a week. But after looking at them, I can see why they're cheap. They're in really bad neighbourhoods, or they got extremely tiny rooms, or they got some structural issue with them, or they're just nasty houses, to put a better word. So then we started looking elsewhere. So I noticed that there's a couple of towns like Laidley and Gatton and Plainlands. They're like little country towns that are in the valley here, where which is like the growers' hub for, one of the growers' hubs for southeast Queensland, make a lot of fruit, vegetables. So we've been looking there. So we finally found a house that was actually about the same as what we're paying now. So it is a house, much bigger. 3 bedrooms, a separate lounge and family room and a dining room. It's probably a little bit big for us, but they only had like 3 rentals and all the others were more expensive. So I'm guessing the reason this place was cheap was it was plain, but I don't care. It was nice and clean and neat, and that's all we're looking at. So I'm not sure if any of you have been renting lately, but the amount of information they require from you now when you put in a rent application is absurd. They want your pay slips, they want your bank statements, they want your driver's license, your Medicare card, everything. And they want photos of everything as well. So they even wanted a photo of a dog. So basically I had to write a resume for the dog as well to state that he doesn't bark and all that sort of stuff. It took us hours to very invasive application process, and being a programmer, I can see this is wide open for exploitation. So the company the portal that we signed up with and gave all this information, if they have a dodgy employee, it's going to be really easy to steal our identity with our licenses and our passports and our Medicare cards and and copies of all this stuff, front and back. So I really don't agree with that. So it looks like we were going to get this house, and now it turns out that the rental place is umming and ahhing about us now, because basically my wife's salary isn't enough. So they don't like to give rentals to people where they're spending more than 30% of their income on rent. And currently we're spending probably more like 50% of our income on rent. And they actually said the same thing. We don't like to sign a lease with someone who's spending 50% of her rents. So unfortunately, just because my wife isn't working only. So there you have it. If you're a couple, and you want to rent, you both have to be working. So a single income is now no longer enough. So I estimated we would have to be earning about $1,500 a week combined just to apply for a bottom of a road house in a bottom of a road country town. And if we wanted to rent a house in Brisbane, say, in a regular area, we would probably have to both be on, say, 80 or 90,000 a year, the two of us. So that's how ridiculous the rent situation is. And when I was looking for rental properties, many of them had in their description that this price is only current for 3 months or 6 months or whatever, and then the price is going up to such and such. And even though the government is telling us that our CPI index, or our inflation rate, is only about 3%, these agents are putting up rent by 20% or 30% or even more. So it's huge. It's maybe $500 a month increase. So that's how badly we're all getting ripped off here. No one's doing anything about it. And also with the price of groceries skyrocketing, I'm pretty sure this inflation rate of 3% it's probably more like 10 or 15%. So that's where we are at the moment. So I don't think we're going to be able to even get a rental property now, because my wife's meager $65,000 a year isn't enough to even get anything. You can see how dire the situation is and how annoying it is too. So if you're a couple and you're both not working, you better be prepared to live in your car or live on the streets.